I'm excited for you to tell us about your club. You've been rolling with me for a while. It's nice to put the face with your support for all these years. I really do appreciate that. David is Alpha India 6 Oscar United, and he is with the Edison Amateur Radio Network. And I can tell that you do a lot of work here because you're all over the website. Let's talk a little bit about the club. What's going on and what moves you to be moved to join that club?
Well, it's a club that was formed and is for primarily employees and retirees of the utility. And we're a big utility. There are three investor owned utilities in Southern California. And it's kind of odd in one respect that there is such a club. But on the other hand, it's kind of normal in this area. TRW, another big company that has a long running really good club. And there's a lot of other big corporations that do. On field day, I'm always amazed that recognize the club calls, and they've got 14 stations on, and they've got a lot of people going. But this club's interesting. It was formed back all the way back in 1938, and came to be really as a flood in Los Angeles that not too many people know about. Yeah, this is one photo. This is the baby city of Anaheim in Orange County, and the Santa Ana River is that line on the top, and you can see how it had just flooded down into the area. This is just Orange County. It impacted Los Angeles, Riverside as well, and it rained. First storm came in for 4 days. Second storm came in for 10 days. And knocked out all power, communication, gas, everything. And the only way they could communicate was with 40 meter and 80 meter NVIS. So the company really stepped up. Another utility, a couple of utilities up north kind of stepped up. They were involved as well. And that's kind of how they were born. It's funny that they have some of the same issues that clubs have today. I want to read real quick a paragraph from like a 1938 bulletin that I found. It says, the prospective roll call at this date numbers 27. It can hardly be expected that 27 free-born Americans will all want the same thing. However, we are not assuming a number at Alcatraz, nor are we signing up for a hitch in the Navy. The intent of this thing is to get acquainted via the air and to become well enough acquainted with each other's frequencies, method of operations, signal strengths to be expected. There will be some value of each other and to our various communities in times of emergency. So it's just kind of funny that even back then, they struggled with the same things that we struggle with today.
What are some of the things that are working? And maybe you can look back, since you can see some of that documentation, things that they were doing back then that have carried on and that still work today.
One of those things is just the simple net. We've since those days, and actually one of the other primary people, Sidecar Steve on 100 Watts in a Wire here, was
Oh,
very
you called him out.
influential.
You call him out.
Called
He
him
said,
out. He's actually a former officer of ARN, so he's got his hand in this deeply as well. So, but
right
yeah, what
there.
really works is two things. One is this is the network that we have, and we're really, really blessed. It kind of echoes the Southern California Edison service territory, which is all the way up from the eastern side of the Sierra Nevada mountain range up in California, and then all the way down to the coast in Oxnard, Santa Barbara. We have a few that parallel on Interstate 10 that go from LA out towards Blythe, and then southern Nevada also. We've got some hydroelectric projects out there, and those were installed to kind of support that area. But we've got these 13 linked by microwave RF, and we've also restarted just in the past 4 or 5 years, NVIS 80 meter net once a week. So we kind of vary that with frequency and time as the propagation warrants, but just different ways to keep people in touch. We practice simplex because we've had, even though it's ironic that this is a club that's sponsored and kind of run by people at the power company. Power of the repeaters goes out just like everybody else's. Yeah, we've got some generator, but they only last a certain amount of time. So we've got to be prepared for other methods and for NVIS HF and for simplex as well.
Do you think that since it was basically established in 1938 because of an emergency situation, that field day is approached with a little more weight than just say a gathering, or has it sort of just become a social gathering?
It's a little bit of both. So we take a lot of pride in it, and we've lost a few members, prominent members, over the past few years, and they had some links to some very unique places. This was one of our. This was one of them actually. We had a gentleman who was a resident of this area, so we could reserve this hilltop park in East Los Angeles and just reach all over the world with it. It was really great. And we also had we had a 75th anniversary special station where we were at one of our hydro generation facilities and got to operate from there kind of near a mountaintop. So looking forward to that I think this is 2022. Next year is our 85th year in existence. And so we're looking at starting to plan for something big for that. So
It's gorgeous.
We're a tiny little part of the company and barely recognized, but we also participate once in a while in some regional exercises with various counties and other California Office of Emergency Services groups as well.
How have you done with cultivating new, younger hams over the years?
That's been a challenge. We like to get a lot of the IT type communication folks, and we have an annual emergency preparedness fair. It hasn't happened obviously over the last couple years, but we have a table there. We reach out. We've got our radios. We sit in one of the EOC trucks that we've got, and we get some of the younger people. And we had a couple last year. I did an online tech class, and we got a couple new licensees. But it's been a challenge, just as everybody else.
So we're talking about the Edison Amateur Radio Network. It's W6SCE in California, and David's joining us to talk about what's going on there. And let me bring in Sidecar Steve, because Steve was a member of the club. And can you tell the quick story about how they kicked you out, Steve? Or how did it go?
Yeah, I left the state.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. So just here's a. Let's see if it will come up.
Let's see where I am
here, but that is myself on one of our towers. Well, when I was with the company, we were installing. So that was probably in the early '90s. So yes, and that's my Edison hat. So yep, I got some old pictures from climbing and doing 10 installs with the repeater system.
David, what's going on here that's notable to you?
This was one of we have our 3 seasons in California: fires, floods, and earthquakes. And this was Holy Gym Fire back in 2018. And the company has worked with the state and with our fire resources to put these cameras on a lot of our hilltop communication sites. And this is on top of Santiago Peak. And this was a fire that was originally probably seen on this camera first. And this is after it had gone up the hill and wrapped around the side. And you can see a couple fire trucks down there with their lights on. This is in the middle of the day, and you can see their lights because of all the smoke. It seemed like nighttime. But the comm sites were all spared up there. And it's just a great, you can look on that website. I think it's in conjunction with University of California. And it's just another resource that the utilities can use to help fight fires in California.
If you're curious about this club, you can check them out online. We can let you know where they are. by doing a search. It's w6sce.org. So if you're in that area and you want to learn more, by all means, go ahead and reach out and contact somebody. Or if you're curious, now, do you take folks that are not part of the utility? How does that work? Like, can a bald guy in St. Louis come and work on field day on the mountaintop with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we
Cool.
take all licensed amateurs. There's no singling people out. We've got people who are friends of employees and just friends and people around the Los Angeles area. And we've got members all over from Northern California all the way down to San Diego. So everybody's welcome.
Beautiful. Thank you, David. I appreciate you for stopping by. I know it's a little early out where you are. Sidecar, but he's supposed to be up. The dogs get him up to go to the bathroom. But thank you so much for coming. Alpha, India, 6, Oscar, United. David, appreciate you so much and your continued support of the show. For complete episodes, subscribe where you get podcasts and click the bell here on YouTube for features and live streams.